They don't do it for the spotlight. They do it for the early mornings, the late nights, the comeback stories. They build more than bodies. They build confidence, discipline, leaders. This is a story about the people behind the programs, the unsung heroes behind the scenes, the strength coaches, the gym owners, the ones who show up every rep, every set, every day. At TeamBuildr, we're proud to power what they do. But this isn't about us. It's about them. Welcome to Built Different, a docuseries highlighting the people who build strength in every sense of the word. This is their story.
Hey, Kyle. What's up, brother?
Oh, no.
I'm Ed Greenway. I'm the Williamsville East varsity lacrosse coach. I started the program here 40 years this spring. And I also coach the modified football team, the 7th and 8th graders here at Williamsville East. My journey into coaching started way back when I grew up in Camillus, New York, just outside of Syracuse. I was involved in sports all through my life, and particularly in high school, I played 3 sports: football, basketball, baseball, and lacrosse. And I knew at that particular point I wanted to stay involved in sport, but I also, the realization of not being able to be good enough to play in college, and then the idea of being a professional athlete was null and void at 6th grade. So I thought, how can I still be involved in sports? And I headed to Fredonia State and spent my 4 years there, undergraduate, and then getting my coaching degree as well. And then I stayed an extra 2 years and worked in student affairs, and they paid for my master's. And then I was lucky enough 40 years ago to get a teaching job here in Williamsville, and my whole adult life has been here in Buffalo.
I am Colin Greenway. I am the assistant varsity lacrosse coach for the men's team at Williamsville East. I actually graduated here in 2014, and then I went on to play at Mercyhurst University, which was a Division II lacrosse program. And how I kind of got into coaching was just seeing my dad growing up, him being my coach. I knew I wanted to be a part of it in some way. Again, the teaching route didn't really go that way, but I knew the coaching was the next best option. So after I got done with my master's, I decided to come home, and I was grateful to have the opportunity to coach alongside him with some of my friends right now, and it's been an awesome experience.
I think the biggest thing was that I always envisioned me doing something in sport, and coaching was the easiest avenue to do that. So when I applied for a teaching job, my principal, Mr. Osborne, said, I didn't hire you to be a coach, I hired you to be a teacher. So after you show that you can be a teacher, we'll let you coach. And that was where I knew I had to teach first. And that spring I was able to teach, I guess, well enough for him. And I ended up coaching the varsity team that started with 3 combined schools here, Williamsville East, Williamsville North, and Williamsville South. That was a task in itself, that you have 3 teams merging to one, and every other sport, they battle each other. So now you give male testosterone young teenagers a stick, and they, you can only imagine the gym at South High School and how chaos that was in those tryouts. But we ended up having 10 players from each school, East, North, and South, and had a great first season. The setbacks happen all the time, and those are the ones that you just kind of have to work through. And I think I enjoy that the most about the setbacks, because there's times that on a modified football team you just don't have big kids and you don't get a win. So then you have to start looking at how can we build positive out of the negative. In modified sports, you're really trying to help them get to the point of falling in love with the sport and then continuing it through their high school careers. You have to kind of keep pushing the idea that you want to play multiple sports. The whole point of competing is trying a different sport to compete with your peers and your buddies, and then hopefully building relationships that last a lifetime, because that's really what we're trying to do in sport, is build relationships, overcome adversity, and then continue to work hard every day to get better.
Right? You're backpedaling, right? I think growing up, you never really think, oh, I'm gonna go coach. You're playing at such a young age where you just think, you'll play forever. But I think it's the next best thing you can do is give back to those kids and whatever knowledge that you've gained in the years, whether it's in high school, youth, college, whatever it is. I think the biggest part is just being able to give back to those kids and help them with whether it's school, whether it's athletics, whatever it may be. I think that's the greatest part with that. Setbacks it happens in all walks of life. I think especially in sports, you know, you can't win all the time. That's life, and that's how it is in sports. So it's kind of learning how to deal with that adversity, and especially with kids of this age in high school, it's trying to teach them, you know, how to handle that. And again, it's difficult, but I think it's kind of one of the challenges that's awesome to deal with, because you get to see them every day. You see them at their highs, you see them at their lows. So it's kind of finding, you know, where we can find that balance within coaching.
Having my son on my team and coaching him, when you can have the opportunity to work with your son in an atmosphere that, one, he excelled at, and then have the opportunity to work with him and see him develop and then just really impact young lives, is a very powerful experience that I get to do every day. And honestly, it's keeping me going in that point of wanting to continue to coach. I think I was probably the hardest on him when he played. And that was, I never wanted to be misconstrued that he was on the team because he was my son. So he had to endure a lot with that, I'm sure. But I think it made him a stronger player. And in the long run, it made him a tremendous coach, because he understands that piece.
Yeah, having my dad as a coach in high school was definitely interesting. Wasn't always the easiest with practicing games, just because we tend to, and I think we still to this day, we butt heads a little bit with some of our philosophies and how we coach. But again, I think that's good. I think that just only helps us in the long run. Definitely playing for him, it was awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world, because, you know, not every kid gets to play for their dad with everything. And it honestly, you get to share some amazing moments throughout your career. So my dad's coaching style definitely shaped how I see it now. I think as I get older too, I see a little more about what he's talking about. I think there's definitely some areas that we see differently, but again, like, I think that's good to have different views on things, and being able to learn from, because you obviously have so many years of knowledge with this, but also trying to, you know, innovate. And, you know, that's where I come in with the younger piece of just seeing how the game has changed, kind of using some new philosophies, just playing faster, playing with the shot clock. I think that helps from my point of view.
Sure.
But I think it's good to have both. You got a young and you got an old. I think that's, you know.
And it's helped. It's helped our players, I'm sure, because there's a lot of players that want to have the experience that Colin did. You know, they want to play at the next level, and he's experienced that. I haven't. You're practicing. You got a landmark.
So what we've been doing in terms of tools for practice, what we've been using to keep ourselves organized is, we'd honestly just use like a Google Sheet to try to, like, all right, this is what practice layout is, this is what we got for teams, we got one team red, one team in white, whatever it is. And that's kind of how we've been doing it for the last couple of years.
We post it so that players know what they're expecting at practice. It's taken it to another level, because it's really what a college program does. You come to practice, you see what team you're on, you see who's injured, what we're going to focus on that day, and then we go and do that. And then, you know, getting past that Google Sheets, one thing that I'm starting to explore is the TeamBuildr app, using the app with my modified football team. And it's like, I don't have these papers anymore falling all over, and it's just right there in my hand. And if I need to send it to my assistant coaches, they have it, we can adapt it. And it's just another tool that we have as well that we continue to evolve.
With the TeamBuildr app, it helps us save a ton of time. So again, that's more time that we can put into film study, for prepping for games, more time we can put into actual practice of being out on the field. And then, at least at the at-home level, it's nice to be able to spend more time with my wife. I'm recently married, so whatever amount of time that I can save and spend more time with her, it's very nice. So I'm very appreciative.
And I would say even more so, what it does, it makes us more efficient with our time. We all know that you have a window of an hour and a half to 2 hours of your practice time. So you want to be more and more efficient with that time, because you know you got another team coming on or another game's going to be on. So if it allows us to be more efficient in that sense, then you more or less have more time on your own to be with your family or be with if you have young kids and things like that. Because it is a valuable work-life balance that we all have to look at now, because life is tough. So I think, when we look at why I'm doing this coaching thing, you hope to impact them as students and athletes, but each day that they come and they commit themselves to being an athlete and be there every single day, that just shows how important it is, that the ability to get through something that's difficult. I think I see that every day with my 7th and 8th graders, that it's their first high school experience and they keep coming out, and you hear through the grapevine that they're having a great experience. I think when the players come back after and they come to our alumni game and seeing what kind of great parents they are and seeing what kind of human beings and impactful people they are in our world, that's the most powerful give back that I could ever have. And that just shows me that I got to keep doing what I'm doing so we can keep that cycle going of athletes. And some have become dear friends and been invited to weddings. Those are things that you must have did something to be able to be a part of that person's life.
I'm very new to the coaching realm compared to you, but definitely being able to see like the impact that you make on kids, I think that's the coolest thing. And hearing them come back and have stories from their college experience, friends. Again, I still talk to people who I play with pretty much daily. So I think that's probably the biggest lasting impact, that if I can make that on those kids, I think that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Looking back, if I could tell myself as a first-year coach, is do not be so hard on yourself, because I feel like I would, after games or practice, I would get so worked up about little things that are out of my control that it's not worth it. You're coming out here because you love the sport, you want to give back to the community, and you want to control what you can control. So don't stress about the little things.
I would say, looking back over these 4 decades, something that I would say to myself is always be enthusiastic each day. That's such a contagious aspect of sport that you just have to keep bringing that enthusiasm. And sometimes it's harder to do that as you get older, but it's such a pivotal part of life and bringing that. So I would say keep being enthusiastic each and every day.
I think if I were to talk to myself now, I'd want the kids to remember that, yes, I am a hard coach, and I might yell a little more than they like, but the reason is I want what's best for them. And I'm not just yelling to yell. I do really want the overall best interest in our players, and I'm trying just to get the most out of them.
There you go, one more here. Well, there you go, good.
I hope they remember me as someone that cared about them deeply, someone that really loved them, because one, you love a sport and you really want it to be imparted on them to love the sport. And then I would say fair, that I was a fair coach, because that's important as well. It's so important, those other aspects of coaching, not just the X's and O's, it's all those, moral moments and all those poise drills and the little things that are important that they'll probably remember more so than they will the games. East on 3, East on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good job, fellas.
Thank you, Coach.
Grab all your stuff.
Yo, there's some balls over there.